I'm going to now, at the halfway mark almost, allow you each to ask a question of the other. I'm going to allow you to go first, Angus, and ask Jim a question.
Well, I'm going to have another go at what you just did, Ross, which is because before the last election, Jim, you and your now government promised Australians a lower cost of energy, a lower cost of living, and that life would be better. Instead, you've overseen the biggest collapse in our living standards in history, bigger than any of our peer countries in the world. Will you apologise to Australians?
Well, first of all, I mean, Angus wrote down that question and then you asked it, and he didn't have the ability to think up a second question. I think that's...
Well, I'm giving you another go, Jim.
Yeah, look, I'll say a couple of points about this. The first point is the measure that you're relying on, which is net disposable income per person, was falling very sharply when we came to office. It was actually falling in the quarter we came to office by 1.6%. That made us one of the worst in the OECD. And that measure is now growing again. And I'm glad you asked me about it. I appreciate you.
It's down 8%.
I'm appreciating you asking me that because we've now got that measure growing again. It was falling sharply under you, and now it's growing again. The reason it's growing is because of the tax cuts, because we got inflation down, and because we want higher wages, and we've delivered higher wages in our economy. Now, again, if you really cared about living standards, you wouldn't have opposed our cost of living measures, and you wouldn't be taking to this election higher income taxes, lower wages, and secret cuts to pay for the nuclear reactors that you still haven't mentioned.
All right, Jim, I'm going to get you to ask Angus a question as well.
Yeah, I want to ask Angus, will he repeat the same commitment to no cuts to health or education that his party took to the 2013 election?
We will bring a bill into the Parliament to guarantee spending on essential services, including health and education,
no cuts?
I gave you a go, Jim, including health and education, because they are essential services for Australians. Where we will ensure we find the savings that are necessary to get Australians' cost of living under control is in those areas I talked about earlier. Manufacturing programs that aren't about manufacturing. I mean, a quantum computing project out of the west coast of the US. Housing projects that haven't delivered a house. I mean, these are not the essential services. And let's be clear. On every year when we were last in government, health and education.
You cut $80 billion.
Health and education spending rose.
I'll tell you why this matters, Ross. Can I tell you why this matters?
Because, you both go.
Because Angus,
go to each other.
Angus and Peter Dutton have both said the best indicator of future is what's happened in the past. Now, in their first budget, after promising no cuts to health and education, they cut $80 billion
All right, I'll go back,
out of health and education, and that's why he won't answer this question.